How gross does that look? Let's eat it. Tomorrow is my live-in taste tester's birthday, and he has demanded cinnamon babka. Actually, he mentioned it casually in passing once, but I thought it would be nice. It's nice to do nice things for people on their birthday, and he loves cinnamon babka. This recipe is dope. I'm super excited to show it to you guys. Here's the thing. This is not my first time in the kitchen today. This morning, I made the taro cupcakes behind me, which still need to be iced. I didn't film that part because I was in my PJs. And I also made homemade granola, also behind me. It is currently 7 p.m. Cinnamon babka takes many hours to make, and it's my night to make dinner. But we can do everything. We can persevere, and if we just don't think about it, it'll be fine. Here's my solution. I'm going to do this in 2 parts, which I've never done before. We are just going to focus on making the enriched dough today. Everything else is gonna happen in the wee hours of tomorrow morning. Okay, step 1 is to combine all the ingredients for the filling. We're gonna ignore that. Moving on to step 2, we're focusing on the dough. First thing that I need to do is heat this milk to 110 degrees. I have a hate-hate relationship with my microwave, so I'm gonna do this over the stove. It's not very much milk, and we're only bringing it to 110 degrees, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on it. Geez, it's 76 degrees in here. We are going to set the oven to 200 degrees, and then as soon as it gets there, we're gonna turn it off and leave the door closed. And essentially, this is creating kind of a proving drawer for us because we don't have a proving drawer. To this large measuring cup, I'm adding 1 egg. I need 2 yolks. Always says like large yolk. You know, you get what you get. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Adding to my stand mixer is flour, all-purpose flour, sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. Oh, do you not have this outrageous amount of yeast in your household? That's so weird of you and not at all of me. And just to be a good baker, I'm gonna make sure that I put the salt on the opposite side of the bowl than the yeast. Salt kills yeast. Yes, I understand they're gonna go together and mix. We don't really know how it works, but don't just put the salt on top of the yeast. Just don't do it. It says it should take about 3 minutes for this to come together, and a lot of the times I don't set a timer, and then it's really difficult for me to understand if 3 minutes have gone by or not. After about 30 seconds, you're like, surely it's been 3 minutes. So I've got a little timer running just so I can, keep an eye on it, but understand how much time has elapsed. And while we wait, I'm gonna quickly catch up on a step I should have done earlier, which is to prep this bowl where the dough is going to rise. So taking a bit of butter, and I'm just going to grease the bowl. All right, that's come together. It's only been 1.5 minutes. We are going to increase the speed to medium and start adding our butter. Very sticky, it's sticking to the sides a lot. And the butter takes several seconds to actually incorporate, which is always a confusing step for me because in the book they talk about how this whole process should take 1 minute. It has never taken 1 minute. This is going to keep mixing for 10 to 12 more minutes, and at the end of that, we should see all of the dough wrapped around the hook. So you'll see like a definite change in the texture of the dough. That's what we're looking for. Okay, I think we're there because it has cleared away from the sides, looks nice and smooth, and also we gotta move this on because I have to go to bed tonight. This is going to go into our turned off oven for 1 hour. We had set it for 200 degrees, then we turned it off and it's still warm, so it will help this rise without overheating it and killing the yeast. So into the oven for 1 hour. The hour's up and the dough is now ready to go into the fridge for another hour's rise. I misread the recipe. I thought that we were gonna do all of the filling stuff tomorrow. That evidently is not the case. Let's go back to step 1, which we skipped. Remember that? Remember when I was like, we don't have to do it? This part, thankfully, is very simple. We're just gonna combine all the ingredients. We need to roll this out to 20 by 14. Now the goal is to make this into as much of a rectangular shape as you can. It's not the neatest rectangle ever. We have this weird bit, but pretend you don't see that. In fact, maybe I'll chop it off. We'll leave it. So now all of the filling except for 1 tablespoon is going on here. This I think is a tricky stage. Number 1, it looks hideous. Number 2, the dough is just really soft. It's kind of coming with as I'm trying to spread this around, and the filling isn't that easy to spread, and yet of course you want a nice even layer if you can get it. Working from this wonky small side, I am going to start to roll it onto itself. Just like you're doing like Swiss roll, or like think about cinnamon buns. All right, here's our sort of delicious looking worm. So I'm just gonna put it seam side down. These ends, I guess we're good. I was gonna maybe I'll trim this one. This was the weird one. Going rogue here, it's late. The next step is to take the filling that was reserved and spread it over the top. After having done this a few times, following that step, we're gonna layer it kind of on top of itself and then twist. And so near the middle, I found that you wanna kind of use less filling, because when that becomes a double layer at the seam, it tends to like splurge out. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to flip, I'm going to twist, I'm going to place. We are going to have confidence and everything will be fine. In on itself. Twisting, twist, twist, place. This is the 2-day divide. You could continue baking and finish this today, but it's late and I want to go to bed. So I'm going to use the same plastic that I had before, cover this, and it's going to go into the fridge for an overnight rest. And I will see it and you in the morning. The babka has been resting in the fridge overnight. It has grown and it is ready to go in the oven. First, I need to do a little egg wash. So just taking a whole egg, quick whisk. Just want to get all the areas without going too overboard, because then it will just turn into cooked egg on, say, the bottom of the pan, which I have a little cooling, so I'm trying to scoop that up and avoid it. But do want to make sure it's well coated, because that's what's going to help it brown and give it that really nice like outer crust. The babka needs to cook in the oven for 45 minutes and reach a temperature of 190. That is critical. I have a hot oven, so I've put it in for 40 minutes, and I've also overbaked this and underbaked it in the past. So I'm going to check it, and we are going to wait until we hit 190. Now it's tricky because some parts of it are 200 and some parts of it are 150. If it is getting too dark when I check it again in a few minutes, then I'm gonna put some tin foil over the top of the parts that are browning, maybe the entire thing. That will still allow it to cook, but not to brown, so that we don't get this like really burnt top. But you know, we are going for like a deep, rich, dark golden color. Not there yet. Here's what we're looking at. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. So you can see this is the area that we had twisted over, and then this was the side that was like totally shrunken and not at all taking up the tin, but it's beautiful. It's got this deep brown color. This is gonna sit in the tin for 20 minutes. Little stickage on the side of there. Lost a little bit of the side. That's okay. So we have a tiny mouse hole. We'll just turn it this way. That's because the parchment I cut it a little short. So there's a little bit of the edge that wasn't under parchment. So lesson learned, make sure your parchment covers the whole bottom. Now, this is looking fantastic. It smells great. It looks great. It is great. I had to wait 2 hours before we can eat it, but it'll be worth the wait. It's a birthday babka!
Thank you.
Are you ready to taste?
Yes. That looks a lot better.
Beautiful swirl.
Every time I eat a cinnamon bun, I think, man, this is the sweetest, richest thing I've ever had in my entire life, and I feel ill after like one bite. Babka is like a cinnamon bun that's not nearly as sweet and is in loaf form, so you can cut exactly however much you want. And I insist.
No. Okay.
Yeah?
This is not part of the recipe.
Oh, but it should be.
This is because it's your birthday. It's confectioner sugar and milk, and it is not part of the recipe, nor do I recommend it. There's such a good crust on babka. Oh, I forgot to tell everyone about the grading system. Go ahead.
E is for
No, wait.
exceptional.
What even is it?
It's from Harry Potter.
Okay.
It's how you grade the OWLs. You need a certain number of E's if you want to become an Auror in various subjects. E is for excellent.
So, no.
O is on pace to be perfect.
Okay, enough of this. Each time I make a new recipe for my favorite cookbook, I give it a grade. Cinnamon babka gets the top grade, O, for outstanding. It's just amazing. Better than cinnamon buns.
Definitely better than cinnamon buns.
It feels like something you could have at breakfast, like knowing it's not good for you, but it's like cinnamon bun. Or we literally eat this for dessert. Great for tea time, great for any time.
You can cut it into slices, make a sandwich out of it.